My name is Paul Luna, and you're tuned into F&B Lunacy. I am here today with Amanda Newsom and Chef Joel Penn, the wife and husband team and co-owners of Vinetta. Amanda, Chef Penn, talk to us about Vinetta. Where are you located and what is your cuisine?
We run a pop-up in Atlanta called Vinetta. We don't have a brick and mortar yet. That's kind of hopefully in the works. And the cuisine is just very seasonal, farm to table-y. We work closely with a lot of farmers that I've been working with for years. Southern-ish food with some Asian influences. It's kind of whatever we want it to be. But that's basically where I tend to lean in my food cooking.
Do you enjoy staying in or going out to eat?
We always enjoy dining out, especially supporting friends, going to their restaurants and stuff.
Amanda, how did you meet?
We actually met in journalism school in a magazine editing class. Maybe not what you're expecting to hear, but we met in like the last class of the semester before we graduated. We just hit it off like immediately and kind of haven't stopped hanging out since. And that was almost 13 and a half years ago.
Amanda, what is it like to be married to a chef?
Well, real talk, not very easy, honestly. I mean, I love that he's creative and fully support him. But when you're talking about being married to someone who works very different hours, I was working a 9-to-5 job before COVID. So trying to actually have quality time together is very challenging. And, you know, on his days off, he would be really tired. So that part of it, I think people see being a chef as being like this glamorous job, and there are some glamorous parts to it sometimes, but on a daily basis, I don't know. It's like you really have to work at finding that time together with him, but also for him and his family and other friends too, you know. But I mean, I love it and I support him fully, obviously, because I'm helping him with this pop-up. And so, yeah.
This is a question for both of you. Do you have any kitchen nightmares or front of the house nightmares?
Yes, definitely. I was a line cook and, you know, sous chef for a long time in kitchens before we were. You hear the ticket machine in your sleep and it's just going and going and going and you're just so in the weeds and you can never catch up. And it's such a stressful dream. There's no resolution to that dream. You wake up and your heart's beating and everything.
What's important? Taste or food presentation?
I mean, taste, number one. It's what's the point of making a beautiful dish if it's doesn't taste good, if it's not memorable, you know? It can be the most artfully plated thing, but if it's bland, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree because some of the comfort food I love most isn't pretty at all, but
round plates, ugly,
yeah.
But tastes delicious.
Exactly. But I mean, I don't know. I just had this like flashback of a tasting menu that we had at one point, and the food was like so creative and fun to look at. But like when we actually left, we were like, there were only 1 or 2 dishes that actually tasted good that we would want to eat again. So I think that taste has to always trump, you know.
Is there a particular food item that you eat that is embarrassing, Amanda?
You like those Krispy Kreme chocolate donuts a lot.
Oh yeah.
Chef, which one?
Oh, mine's the easy answer. Taco Bell.
Oh yeah.
It's my guilty pleasure. I can't help it. Has been since I was a teenager.
Chef, are you a breast or a legs man?
Are we talking about chicken here?
Duck.
I'd say for fried chicken legs, they're juicier. I like them.
Amanda, fill in the blank. Attending to guest is?
like just as important as the food that you're serving them.
What type of music do you enjoy listening to at home?
I'd say punk rock if you have to pick one category.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy doing when you're not working?
That's a tough question. I don't know if I have much of a life outside of food. I feel like that's a common chef answer, unfortunately.
I mean, again, pre-COVID, I mean, traveling, going out to eat, but yeah, traveling is a huge one.
Eating, drinking, hiking. We like to be out in nature, that kind of stuff. But mostly it's cooking.
Is there anything of importance that you would like to share with us?
Sourcing locally as much as possible and really developing the relationships with your farmers and these craftsmen. I think seasonality is like really important in food.
Yeah. And also to that, just you're supporting more people within that food chain of, getting the food onto a diner's plate.
True.
So I think, we try to be supportive of our local farmers, of our, other friends who are chefs. And, like you said, it is a big community. So we want to support everyone.
Your thoughts on how do you go about deciding where you're going to be? How do you go about it?
In this past year, it's been interesting because we were very particular, kind of picky about where we would pop up because we wanted to make sure it felt safe, because of COVID, obviously, but safe for us and safe for the guests. So we had a few places that were our go-tos that were, if they were indoors, they had, big garage door things. So it kind of still felt open air. We did a few farmers market pop-ups. So that's outdoors and felt a bit safer. But other than that, pre-COVID and stuff, it was usually a friend who owns a restaurant, maybe a few different friends. And we'd be like, hey, if y'all are closed on Mondays, could we do a pop-up? And usually a lot of these people started also from the pop-up scene and they're always super supportive. So it was a lot of that,
And it's also our first year doing pop-ups, we tried all kinds of different places just to test different, breweries or, whiskey distilleries or, different types of restaurants even, because, we just wanted to see which ones are more successful. And we kind of, our food, even though it's a pop-up, it is on the more fine dining side of things and price point. So, breweries, people want more bar food that's less expensive, we found. And so, but, at a distillery, people are willing to pay a little bit more for a cocktail. And, so we kind of figured out some of those intricacies of, our food fitting into the current establishment, and the same for even restaurants.
True.
Because, people, if they don't know that restaurant's closed on a Monday, if they show up, then our food has to be at least appealing to some of those people as well. But I think we did a pretty good job of kind of finding what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. In the pop-ups, is it a fixed menu? A la carte?
Yeah, usually we'll, 4 or 5, maybe 6 dishes meant to be kind of priced and meant to be kind of shareable. Because that's my favorite way to eat, is to go with a few people and just be like, oh, let's get everything and pass it around and share it. And it's fun and communal and stuff. So, a few dishes meant to be shared, order one of them, or a lot of times we'll put a price at the bottom that knocks a few dollars off and be like, hey, order the whole menu for a few dollars cheaper and just share it. And that's my favorite way to eat. Like I said, I think it's fun.
Yeah. And we usually try, it's definitely not his main priority, but we do usually try to put a few dishes on the menu that are accessible to people with different dietary restrictions. So we'll usually try to have something that's gluten-free or vegetarian or vegan, just so that everyone has a chance to try our food.
This is a question for both of you. Chef Penn, Amanda, do you consider yourself a lunatic?
I think to be in this industry, absolutely. It's hard work. It's long hours. It can be really rewarding, but I think it's exclusively populated with crazy people.
Yeah. I think to be an entrepreneur in general,
That's true.
you kind of have to. But I don't know. Like, you have to just go for what you believe in and have confidence in what you're doing. And I think you just have to put everything you have into it if you want it to work, because if you half-ass it, like, of course it's not going to. And then if it fails, then at least you can say you tried your hardest, you know.
Be a crazy person and jump in the deep end.
Yeah, exactly.